Hi, y'all. It's Rick here with Uncommon Communion. Happy Monday. It is 2 minutes into Monday, so it is no longer Sunday as I record this. But it was on Sunday evening that I got a little bit derailed from the plan that I had to write my first in my new Lenten format. And again, y'all, I'm going to have to put that off until tomorrow because, well, here we are. I'll tell you a little bit more about what sidelined me this evening. And also, we will look at Psalm 54 in just a moment. After we begin, as we begin always here at Uncommon Communion, by recognizing and realizing and deeply connecting with, however we may, the reality that we are always and everywhere in the holy presence of the more and each other. Well, two things this evening took me away from my hope to be able to write this evening or write for Monday. First of all, was I got hooked into another episode of The Leftovers. The good news is, I guess, that I believe there's only 4 more episodes in the season and in the series, because it's only a 3 season series. It's amazing. It is just such an amazing show. And each time I watch, I follow it up with a podcast. I've mentioned this before. Two guys, they call themselves Bald Move. And I just like their conversations. And I like the thoughtfulness and the insights and the questions that they bring to each episode after they have watched it. And I just feel that, I could certainly binge watch, just watch all these episodes back to back. I don't want to do that. And I've only done that a couple times in this journey through the show. Watched 2 episodes close to each other, or in some cases actually back to back, without listening to this podcast. And I feel in those situations, I just haven't gotten as rich of an experience watching it, because I think there is something to be said for deep and thoughtful art, whether it's a movie, a television show, a piece of music, a visual representation, a visual art, that discussing it and reflecting upon it and conversing about it deepens it and enriches it and makes it, for me, at least in this conversation that these two guys are having, makes it more relevant and engaging. So that was the first part of my evening. The second part was talking to a sponsee, and we had a nice hour-long call, which is a little bit longer than some of the calls we've had, but I brought him, we've worked together through the steps so far, and we are now on the threshold of steps 4 and 5, which, if you know anything about 12-step recovery, the step there is the fourth step is made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. And then the fifth step is shared with our higher power, shared with ourself, our higher power, and another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. And it was interesting because this sponsee has worked the steps in AA, which is something I have not done. I do have an idea of how they are traditionally worked in AA, but it was so illuminating for him to see what A Gentle Path Through the 12 Steps, Patrick Carnes's seminal and really, I think, profound guidebook, what this offers as this young man works through the steps. So it was very, very rewarding and very rich for me to share this and to guide him. And I feel like that was really time well spent this particular evening. Well, it does bring us to Psalm 54. And this one is a fairly short one, so I'll read the whole thing. This is only 7 verses. And again, this is similar in some of the themes that we have heard, right? There's certainly repetition across the Psalms, and I hope that doesn't become um, something that burdens this journey. Because again, I think that there's always a verse or two maybe that speaks to us in particular, maybe in light of where we are personally, where we are collectively with current events in our nation, and also perhaps where we are seasonally, whether it's in Lent or whether it's in the increasing daylight here in the Northern Hemisphere, right? So, again, I think each psalm is unique, and going through them in this way, one after the other, not jumping around and picking and choosing, but really seeing what lines up. That's always something I find particularly exciting, to see those synchronicities and to see those connections, right? So here is Psalm 54. O great Spirit, come and rescue me by the strength of your name. Make it known that I have done what is right. Maker of life, hear me when I send my voice to you. Turn your ear to hear the words of my mouth. For strange foes have attacked me, fierce enemies who have no respect for the Great Spirit, hunt after me for the kill. Behold, Creator, my honored chief, stands with me. He is the strong tent pole that holds my life firmly and safely in place. O Great Spirit, let the evil my enemies plan for me fall back on their heads. Be true to your promise and bring them to a bad end. My heart is glad to give a ceremonial offering to you. I will give thanks to you, Grandfather, for your name is good. You have set me free from all who trouble me, for with my eyes I have seen my enemies put to shame. Just a couple of thoughts here. Again, I am struck by the desire for retribution we find in some of these Psalms. And really, what is that saying about the God who the psalmist is praising, right? I mean, it seems very tribal, very primitive. God, you love our people who do the good things, and the people who are my enemies who hate me. Of course, you're going to smite them. Of course, you're going to, send destruction upon them, bring them to a bad end, right? And I bring this up because this is so common in the Psalms, and I think so common in some people's imagination, their understanding. I hope not their experience, but their understanding intellectually through beliefs and teachings and maybe communities that have instilled this in them, this idea of this God of us smiting those who have a different God, or follow a different thing, or look a different way, or act a different way, right? It just is dividing things up so tribally, right? And to me, it seems like, to progress, to evolve beyond the tribalism, you need a much more expansive understanding of reality and of creation. And, the more God is, it can be that, right? It doesn't have to be that for us in our imagination, in our understanding. But as soon as we start breaking things down to our side versus their side, you lose what we know builds stable prosperity in people, which is um, just having a unity, and not this tit for tat and retribution, and so forth, right? Again, I think so much of what we're seeing in the United States right now is based on bad theology, and really dangerous theology, and I think misinterpretation, malinterpretation of some of the really basic things in the Bible, right? So more can certainly be said on that at other times. I particularly like the parts that are praises, right? I love, beloved, behold, Creator, my honored chief stands with me. He is the strong tent pole that holds my life firmly and safely in place. So we'll end with that thought. And as we are doing here in Lent, we are ending with the Suspice, the prayer of St. Ignatius of Loyola, and we pray, Take, Lord, and receive all my liberty, my memory, my understanding, and my entire will. All that I have is yours. You have given all to me. To you, O Lord, I return it. All is yours. Dispose of it wholly according to thy will. Give me your love and your grace. That is enough for me. All right, y'all, another week, less of an intense teaching week for me. I was supposed to have to go in 2 hours each way on Monday to lead a training, and that did not happen, and I am so very grateful. So may you have a good start to your week. Blessing and good. Be bold, be well, hold fast, y'all.